Failure is not the enemy. It is not the end of your story. It is a teacher, a refiner, a painful but powerful friend that comes to shape your destiny. Most people run from failure. They hide from it. They let it define them. But what they don't understand is that failure is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. Every time you fall, every time something doesn't work out the way you hoped, God is using that moment to build something in you that success alone could never produce. You don't grow when everything is perfect. You grow when things break, when plans collapse, when the dream you thought was certain slips through your hands. That's where greatness is born. There are some lessons that only failure can teach. You can read every book, listen to every sermon, study every strategy, but until you have been crushed by disappointment and yet found the strength to rise again, you don't really understand success. Success that comes easy doesn't last long, but success that comes through the fire, that's the kind that transforms nations, changes generations, and builds unshakable character. You can't be truly strong until you've been truly weak. You can't lead with wisdom until you've been lost and confused. You can't teach perseverance until you've had to cry your way through a midnight of pain. The problem with most people is that they let failure label them instead of teach them. They fail once and call themselves a failure. But listen, failure is an event, not an identity. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. And you are not the sum of what went wrong. You are who you become after it. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't is not that one group never fails. It's that one group never quits. They fall, they get up, they learn, they adapt, and they keep moving forward even with scars on their back and tears in their eyes. Sometimes failure is the best proof that you tried. It means you had the courage to step out when others stayed safe. It means you were willing to risk rejection for the sake of your calling. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try. But if you want to see what you're truly made of, if you want to know what's really inside you, you've got to be willing to step into the unknown, make mistakes, and face the embarrassment of falling short. Because that's where destiny begins to unfold. You see, failure exposes your foundation. When everything collapses, you discover what was real and what was fake, what was built on faith and what was built on fear. Failure will strip away your pride, but it will also introduce you to your purpose. It will humble you, but it will also strengthen you. It will break your heart, but it will build your soul. Sometimes God will let something fall apart, not to punish you, but to prepare you. He knows you can't carry the weight of your destiny with weak hands and a fragile spirit, so he allows failure to forge steel in your backbone and power in your heart. The seed of success is buried inside every failure, but you have to dig deep enough to find it. You can't find it by complaining or giving up. You have to get back up, dust yourself off, and say, "This might have knocked me down, but it will not knock me out." You've got to believe that every closed door is redirecting you, every setback is setting you up, and every no is leading you toward the right yes. What you thought was rejection might just be redirection. What looked like loss might be positioning. What seemed like an ending might be the beginning of something greater than you could imagine. The truth is, every champion you've ever admired has a history of failure. Every invention, every masterpiece, every empire was built on a mountain of mistakes. But they didn't stop at the failure. They learned from it, built on it, and rose higher because of it. You may be standing in the middle of failure right now. You may have tried and it didn't work. You may have prayed and it didn't change. You may have invested everything you had and still came up short, but hear this, just because it failed doesn't mean you are finished. Sometimes the greatest success story begins right after the biggest failure. Sometimes you have to lose the plan to find your purpose. So don't despise your failure. Embrace it, learn from it, let it grow you, let it stretch your faith and discipline your heart. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that failure was the best thing that ever happened to you. Because it taught you to depend on strength greater than your own, to trust when you couldn't trace, and to rise when you didn't feel like rising. Failure isn't final unless you stop fighting. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep building. Because the moment you embrace failure, you are already on your way to succeed. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of discovery. It is not your enemy. It is your mirror showing you where you need to grow, where you need to rise, and where your strength is yet to be proven. When life knocks you down, it's not trying to bury you, it's trying to plant you. Every fall, every mistake, every disappointment is preparing you for something greater. The problem is that most people don't see the lesson inside the loss. They get stuck staring at what went wrong and never realize that failure was the fire meant to refine them. You cannot become gold without heat, and you cannot become strong without struggle. The pain you feel today is shaping the power you will carry tomorrow. There are moments when failure feels unbearable. The doors you were sure would open stay shut. The people you trusted walk away, and the plans you built with all your heart collapse right before your eyes. But that's the moment where character is forged. That's where your faith gets tested. Success doesn't define who you are, failure does. It reveals whether you will stand up again or stay on the ground. It reveals whether your hope is built on comfort or conviction. You can't know the strength of your wings until the wind comes against you, and you can't know the strength of your faith until it's all you have left to hold on to. Every person who ever achieved something great had to face failure head on. They had to walk through rejection, endure ridicule, and push past disappointment. But they understood something powerful. Failure doesn't mean stop. It means start again. With wisdom, when you fail, you don't lose everything. You gain experience. You learn what doesn't work. You develop resilience, humility, and determination. The lesson that failure brings is one no book can teach. It's the kind of education only life can give. It trains you to appreciate success, to handle blessings with gratitude, and to walk with compassion toward others still climbing their mountain. Sometimes failure is divine protection. You think you lost an opportunity, but maybe you were being redirected. You think something fell apart, but maybe it was never meant to stand. You think you failed, but maybe you were being freed from something too small for your destiny. Failure will strip away your illusions and bring you face to face with who you really are. It will reveal your motives, your endurance, and your trust. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to shape you. You may not understand it now, but what feels like failure could be the foundation of your greatest victory. So don't fear the fall. Don't hide from mistakes. Every failure you embrace becomes a stepping stone toward the strength and wisdom that will one day define your success. You can't be truly successful until you've learned to fail gracefully. Failure is not just an obstacle, it's an essential ingredient in the process of becoming who you were meant to be. It humbles the proud, strengthens the weak, and awakens something deep inside the human spirit that comfort could never reach. When everything goes right, you celebrate. But when everything goes wrong, you transform. The real growth happens when your plans collapse, when the applause stops, when your confidence is tested by silence. That's when you learn to stand on faith instead of feelings, on conviction instead of convenience. Failure introduces you to a version of yourself that comfort would have kept hidden. Most people see failure as rejection, but it's often direction. It's the universe pushing you out of a space that's too small for your potential. You might have wanted that door to open, but some doors are locked because what's behind them cannot hold the weight of your purpose. Failure will not only close wrong doors, it will open your eyes. It will teach you how to discern between what you want and what you need, between what looks good and what is good for you. Sometimes the disappointment that breaks your heart is the very thing saving your destiny. You can't see it in the moment, but when you look back, you realize that every failure was a chapter in a bigger story that was leading you exactly where you needed to be. The truth is, failure exposes what you believe about yourself. When everything falls apart, what voice do you listen to? The voice that says you are finished, or the one that says get back up? You see, greatness is not born in victory, it is built in recovery. Every time you rise from failure, you rewrite the definition of strength. You prove that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the refusal to let fear make decisions for you. The greatest heroes, inventors, leaders, and dreamers all shared one thing in common: they failed, but they refused to stop there. They used failure as fuel. They turned frustration into focus, loss into learning, and pain into purpose. Don't waste your failure. Don't bury it in shame or hide it behind excuses. Study it, learn from it, and let it stretch you. There is power in what you've survived. There is wisdom in what didn't work. And there is victory in refusing to let your past define your potential. Failure is never final unless you decide it is. The moment you choose to see failure not as an enemy but as a mentor, everything changes. You stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start believing in what could go right. You realize that success is not avoiding failure, it's mastering the art of rising after it. Failure is a mirror that reflects your true strength. It shows you what you're made of when the applause fades and the plan falls apart. You can't develop resilience without resistance, and you can't build faith without falling. Failure teaches you how to stand on truth when everything else crumbles. It humbles you, reshapes your vision, and strengthens the foundation of your purpose. When things don't work out, it's not a sign that you're done. It's proof that you're in the process of becoming. Every failure carries a message, and every mistake contains a lesson. The reason failure hurts is because it challenges your pride. It strips away everything you thought you had figured out and forces you to start again. But starting again is not weakness, it's courage. It's choosing to rise when quitting feels easier. The most powerful people are not those who never fell. They're the ones who kept getting back up. Failure builds patience, develops endurance, and deepens your gratitude when success finally arrives. You begin to see that failure was never working against you, it was working for you. There is no success story without failure written in the first few chapters. It's the darkness that gives meaning to the light, the loss that gives value to the win. Every time you fail, you are being prepared to handle success with maturity, to appreciate what you once took for granted, and to inspire others who are still in their struggle. Failure is not your defeat. It's your development. It's the fire that purifies, the storm that strengthens, and the silence that shapes your soul for the greatness waiting ahead.